Hi, I'm Andrew Androff with Movers.com, and we're thrilled to be working with Howell Public Schools on this upcoming relocation. Today, we're going to talk about packing and preparing your classroom for the upcoming move. It starts in the common area where we provided your packing materials. We've dropped off a collection of packing materials that you'll use to help pack your space. In Highlander Way Middle School, the packing area is located inside the media center, so we'll use this as a great example. You'll find stacks of our green containers. In the other schools, they might be the color yellow. Essentially, the exact same container. These are what we call our crates. And then over here we have stacks of what we call our skates. In addition, for those of you that have glassware, we have provided packing paper, which come in separate bundles. We've allocated 1 to 2 packets of paper for each classroom that has glassware. That typically is going to include your science rooms and sometimes your art areas. If you also have glassware, check in with your staff and they can provide you with some additional paper as well. So once you come down to collect your packing materials, you'll see that they're staged into 2 areas, both the space where you'll find them on wheels and the space where they're just stacks of crates. Essentially what you're going to want to do is go ahead and start and grab a skate and bring that over to the crate area, where you'll find the crates nested together. From here, you can grab a stack full of crates of how many you might need to pack up your space. We've already allocated how many you may need with an estimated amount that you can connect with your head principal to get an estimate for your space. What we always recommend is go ahead and start with the least amount you need, and then as you need it, continue to come back and grab as many crates as you need. We've allocated plenty of crates, so please feel free to use as many as you need to pack up your space. Crates are nice because they're built so you never actually have to lift a loaded box. They come pre-assembled and they're on wheels once you use the skates. So in this example, I prepared 4 crates to go to your classroom to take this back, so we're going to go back and we'll start packing your space. We always allocate 4 crates to every 1 skate. And if you stick with that ratio, it makes everything easy for the move team. Hey, we're back and we want to talk to you about one other product that we're going to provide with some specific classrooms. Now, typically we bring these out the day of the move, but some of you have classrooms that have oversized items that just won't fit into a traditional crate. For those of you that have those oversized items, we're going to provide you what we call a speed pack box. And we'll drop those off to your classroom in advance so you can actually use the product. The speed pack box itself comes in a flat setup, so it doesn't take up much room. But once you build it, you can see it easily. It sits on the floor flat and can be filled with anything oversized. Examples of things that we often find teachers put inside the speed pack box are going to be anything that just wouldn't traditionally fit into a crate. It might be some oversized containers, some bins. We'll go into a classroom and give you an example and actually use this in space. But the one thing I do want to show you is how to actually position it from the flattened position into an actual pack ready position. They're new boxes, so you'll find that the flaps are on the upper end. So if you see the logo down, you'll know that it's upside down, which is the way that you want to build it. You're going to simply open the box. So we open it up, and we have 4 flaps, but 2 of the smaller flaps. Then down. Start with the 2 flaps first. Once your 2 flaps are folded down, you'll take the long flap, put 2 hands on it, and you'll go down past the position. So we call it breaking the back of the box, or like weakening the box, which will actually help you structurally let it sit up and sit flat like the box you see here. So just 1 or 2, just like that. That's all you need to do. You'll do the same thing to this side. Push down. We'll go past the point of the level position. Flip your box up. Place it on the ground. It sits flat and it's ready to be loaded. We'll see you in your classroom. All right, great. So now you've brought your packing materials and supplies into your classroom and you're preparing to start packing. Let's talk about one very, very important piece of the puzzle. That is moving labels. Each school is designated a specific label color that will be used for anything that you're expecting to be moved from your classroom to your new classroom. we've allocated special label colors for each school. As an example, you'll see the pink color labels, which are going to be used for anything moving from Highlander Way to the freshman campus. You'll find brown label colors for any items being moved from freshman campus to Howell High School. You'll find yellow labels being used for anything moving internally within Howell High School. Those are the three only colors that you're going to utilize for your space. Other than inside your classroom, if you find a piece of furniture that is in a broken condition or something the district may not be able to use or repurpose, we've allocated green labels that represent disposal items. So if you see a chair that's missing a leg or a table that's broken, something that's basically irreplaceable or irreparable or non-functioning, those are great items to flag with a green label. Those items will remain in your classroom and eventually they'll be disposed of or removed. Now, in terms of using your labels, there's very important pieces that you're going to want to include on your label. Your label will only include your name and the room number that you're going to. So that information will be shared with you through your staff at your school. As you start to begin the labeling process or the packing process, you'll start with your label color and label the room number as well as your first name and last name on each label. That will begin preparing the space to begin packing. So as an example, start with your labels and go ahead and put your name, Mike Smith, and the room that you're going to, 136. You can ignore all of the things that are written on the actual label as far as what you're supposed to be placed on there. Because for this move, to keep it very simple for our move team, we just need two identifiers, your name and the room number you're going to. The color will tell us what school you're going to. So you would just continue that process and fill out each sticker with your name and with your room color, your room number. And that's your new room number, not your existing room number. So you'll want to make sure that this number that you place on here is the room where you expect your furniture or your contents to be moved to. Okay, so we're ready. We've started to prepare our labels, and now we're going to actually pack some of the items. The first thing we're going to pack today as an example is something that's non-glass. Pretty basic. It could be stuff that you find inside your desk. It could be stuff that you find inside your cabinet. Really anything that's considered loose contents, we have to get it into a contained container. So that being said, the plastic boxes are perfect for that. We've brought them down into your space. And again, you never have to lift a loaded box. These are empty and they're on wheels, so it makes it easy. So we're going to start with the bottom crate. It is on wheels. We're going to identify the area that we want to pack. In this example, we're going to pack this open bookshelf here. So we're essentially just going to take the contents that are on the shelf, and it's a one-to-one transfer. We're transferring from the shelf, placing it into the crate. We're going to utilize the space in the box as much as possible so that we fill it all the way to capacity, but we're going to be careful that we fill it. We want to fill it so that the lid, which is attached, can still shut fully. So I'll go through, I'll start continuing my process of moving items over, filling space as we go. When packing, the best method is to try to pack to utilize as much of the box as possible. That makes it so that the contents inside the box will not shift. Keeps them safe. We're getting close to what we'd consider a capacity position inside this one crate, which would again still allow us to shut the lid. And once we get to that space, we go ahead and shut the lid. On the crate, you're going to find a very convenient and easy to identify space where it says place your label. Simply take the sticker that you pre-filled out, place the label right in the spot on the container. Then we're just gonna go ahead and repeat the process until this shelf is completely packed up inside the crates. We'll continue to do it. Again, we're lifting an empty box, never lifting a loaded box, always an empty box. Crates empty and ready. We'll continue the process of packing. If you do see dead space inside here and you've got a loose item that would fit into that space, you can certainly fill it up. The key to this is though, when you pack a box, you want to make it easy on yourself to unpack it. So in this example, I'm clearing out this shelf, I know these contents are going to go together and I want to make it easy for myself to unpack it. So I could come over here and grab something like this that's loose and fill it in this dead space, which would be better use of this box. I advise you to do that if that makes sense in your particular classroom. That will allow you to use less crates for packing. However, if you want to make it easier on yourself, that we know that everything that came from these two shelves are in these two boxes, then I would just fill the box to your own liking in terms of how much you'd like to put in this box so it stays easy and clean. And again, place your label. Now, I'm going to give you one more tip that helps quite a bit. Let's say that you've got these boxes now, you know they are going to the right space, but you want to know what's inside these boxes. Go ahead and use another label. It's what's nice about what's actually the size of our little placards on these boxes. We know that this came from side shelf in this room. And we know that there's some books in there, so we'll put side shelf. We know that this is the collection of innovation to the game, so we could put that down as our books. Innovation to game. That's just another unique identifier that will help you as a teacher, when you go to unpack and you return in August, it'll help you know what's inside this box, so you won't have to open the box up and guess what's in it and then move it to a designated space. It's just one extra unique identifier, and there's plenty of room on our placards, so you've got room to use labels in that purpose as well. Okay, so I just want to show you another great example here. Here we're working with a cabinet where we've got some binders, traditionally what you're going to see in a classroom setting. And the binders themselves set really well and adapt this into this box, so you can essentially just take them off your shelf or your cabinet that they're in and leave them standing up. Just like that. The lid itself will close perfectly and you are off to your next pack. All right, great. So we are going to teach you how to pack glass inside your classroom. So the first thing you want to do is, again, start with an empty container, empty crate. That will get placed on the stack of crates that you're working on. You're going to use what we call newsprint, white paper. Whenever you pack glass, the first thing you want to do is create a really nice, safe nest inside this box. So it just simply starts by kind of creating little baseballs of the packing paper. You're creating a nested surface on the bottom of the crate. And the purpose of that is just kind of absorb the weight of whatever you're placing inside there so that it's not riding straight on the plastic bottom. Instead, it's riding on the newsprint. So it's got a pretty good mess going here. We've covered the bottom base of this. I feel comfortable with whatever I put in here. It's going to compress that a little bit, but ride in a safe fashion. So we found in this particular classroom some of these glass units. It's very simple. As an example, you'll use the flat stock of paper, start in a corner, and just roll across. As you're rolling, you fold into the piece. And it's all about, when you wrap with the paper, is you want to leave a little bit of flex in the paper. So once it's wrapped up, some of the things that we do, because when you have paper like this and you've got a nest of paper and glass, it's sometimes nice to go ahead and mark just a little note on here so we know that this is a glass piece. So when you unpack, it's going to make it a little bit easier for you. I'll see if I can find you some other examples of glass. Again, simply roll across, fold in. You can see there's give in this. I just put a little bit of marker on here so it identifies the difference between packing paper that I put on the bottom of your crate and packing paper that's actually packed. Okay, so just another example of glass here. This we're going to roll across, fold across, keep it in a loose fashion. If you still feel glass, you can always go with another piece of roll. The main point of how we're doing this though, is we're doing it so that anything we've wrapped up, it's never a glass. You never hear any kind of compression of that actually hitting the glass. It keeps it safe. We're going to go ahead and pack this all the way to capacity, just like we would any other crate. And just make sure we leave enough room for the crate to be closed. We're going to go ahead and put the label on the container. And then, very important, we're going to go ahead and let the movers know that this is a glass crate. So just go ahead and put GLASS. Lets the movers know that what's inside this box is a little bit more fragile, a little bit more sensitive than any other crate. So we're going to talk about using the speed pack box. Now, throughout this video, we've talked about making sure that you use the crate for anything that fits inside of the crate. But sometimes in classrooms, you're going to find things that just are too big to fit inside of the container. In that example, we'll use the speed pack box. The speed pack box is essentially like a grocery cart, open size, that you can fill the capacity. It's not sitting on wheels, but don't worry about that. Our move team will place wheels on it. Here's a great example of something you might place inside of a speed pack box. Simply, these items can just go out of their normal shelved space, and we're going to go ahead and place them inside the speed pack. Again, they're too big to fit in a crate, but they fit inside the speed pack. Our move team will be able to move the loaded speed pack to your new classroom. When it gets back to your new classroom, it'll sit next to the area where you placed it. You will want to make sure that you place a label on the speed pack. Again, the label will be your name, I was 6 years old, broke my leg, as well as your room number. We'll place that on the inside of the speed pack. That way, if the label falls off, it falls off in the speed pack. Okay, the final phase in preparing your classroom is looking through your space and seeing anything that you want to bring with you that's considered furniture. Example of a cabinet like this, student chairs, slate table desks, your own teacher desk, office chair, any of those items that you want to move, we ask that you put a label on it. It's very, very crucial that you have a label on anything that you want us to move. The label is like the magic ticket that tells our move team that please take this to my new classroom. So if we see something with a label on it, it's going to get moved. If there's no label, it tells our movers to go ahead and leave it inside your space. When you walk through your space, it's pretty basic. You want to go ahead and place a label where it's very visually easy for our move team to see. So an example like this could either be the front surface, or the top, We're good with either. You just want to use a location that's very, very simple and easy to spot. Place the label on it and move on to the next item. When it comes to technology, your IT team is going to actually handle your devices themselves, so you won't have to necessarily worry about packing or preparing those devices or those items, but furniture exclusively you do want to prepare. So again, label on the desk, label on an example like an office chair. A lot of good questions I get on office chairs: where do you place the label, where's a good spot? Look for a hard plastic surface on the back. There's a formal label here. So that's a good area that you can go ahead and place the label. Our move team will see that. Some of the other things that I want to bring up in this video, just to let you know, this is a standard, traditional, rectangular desk. Some of our teaching staff here have L-shaped desks with a return that comes off of it. If you have a multi-piece unit, like an L-shaped desk, we just ask that you use a label on each piece of that furniture. So the rectangular piece would get a piece of a label, as well as if you had an L-shaped end coming off of it, we'd ask you to place a label on that as well. This pretty much concludes how to pack and prepare your space. We hope you have a great experience. We're available for questions. Certainly, if you do have any questions between now and when you're packing, send them into your team at your own school. Those questions will get sent to us, and we'll make sure we get you some quick answers. So thank you very much. We look forward to a great experience. Enjoy your summer after your pack, and we'll come back to your new space. Your room will be ready for you. Have a great day.